Okay. Well, of course, we're ending just as things are ramping up, and the fact that there's so much more to discuss and so many fantastic new ideas that we only heard in the last hour is really exciting to me. There's clearly more to do here, and we're just getting started. But I just want to give a brief recap of what happened this week and give you a sense of the coming steps for ngEHT science. So as a reminder, we gathered from all over the globe, even those who are toughing it out in difficult time zones. And we had more people join us along the way. We ended with over 500 participants with the 86 fantastic talks throughout the week. So this was just really an exciting and vibrant community. And I also want to just call out again the scientific organizing committee. I think a lot went right here to stimulate good conversations and to ensure that we had a wide range of science covered. And it's really to their credit to put in the time ahead of the meeting to make sure that we would be set up for success. And I want to especially thank Avery Broderick, the co-chair of the SOC, and Shep Doleman for really putting in a lot of work into the organization of the meeting. Now, in addition to that, I think that we all saw how seamlessly the technical side of the meeting was, how effective the communication tools that were set up ahead of time. And this is all due to the hard work of this LOC, who really went above and beyond to make sure that this meeting was a success. So I just want to take a moment and give them a round of applause. In person, you would have a standing ovation. But many thanks to the LOC for truly making what seemed like an impossible task work so well. Now, as I said, we had over 80 talks. I think these were really of exceptional quality. So thanks to those presenters for putting so much effort into preparing wonderful presentations. And the slides and videos for these will be posted online. We're still iterating on the format there, but the speakers, please upload your slides to the Dropbox so that we can keep this as a milestone in the project and truly a very valuable reference to all of us moving forward. I want to highlight just a few of the really sort of prescient remarks of the speakers throughout the week. But I also don't want to bias their intent. So I wanted to just rely on the transcript that was generated automatically during the week rather than putting it in my own words. So Roger Blandford told us, and let's take a look at the science context and our focus mostly on MAD7. But having Emily 7 is focusing on MA7's a good thing to do. So really incomparable from Roger. We also had Mark Reed on the first day, and he told us about M87 Sagittarius star and astrometry. He said, on M87, he said, it showed some very interesting properties. It looked like it was Lynn Brighton. So how fast should Sanjay started be moving? And then we had the incomparable Shep Doleman, of course. So I called on him, Chef has his hands up. Okay, Chef. And Shep responded, I've always got my hand up. It's a condition, right? So curious cat. And that it actually did translate verbatim. We then had Frank Eisenhower who told us, so here really it's about Cheddar relativity. And Schroeder should have relativity describes properly what we see. And on this slide, to Cedar, to reef top dog eat your order size measurements. Definitely laying the groundwork for the ngEHT. On a more serious note, Huan Yang wrote, he said that, and that's a big circle there too, but at the Vatican, as they are called, grace. And then finally, Sarah Markov was kind enough to put the ngEHT in a multi-wavelength context for us. And so she told us that with reference to the Cherenkov telescope array, for the CTA, its chaos speeds are very similar to what we're interested in. So certainly good for us to keep in mind. Okay, so one of the things the LOC did that I think was really helpful was setting up the Slack workspace for us, which now has 260 members on it and almost 3,500 messages sent. So it was really a lot of fun to see just a flood of new ideas, just quick back and forth exchanges on projects and dropping in figures and so forth. And also just the really collegial spirit of it. We didn't know how much moderation would be needed at the start, and it was just really a joy to see everyone treating their colleagues with respect and taking ideas seriously. So we'll keep this workspace open after the workshop, and this will be a way that we can allow continued discussion and announcements on the ngEHT. Now, as we work towards the science goals, this day 5 was really an experiment. We weren't sure how it would go, but I think it was really a blast. And in the groups that I was with, it went a long way in articulating, as we're just having a frank conversation with each other, like really fundamental questions that we still don't have enough handle on to even design the right measurement for them. So this first set of breakout sessions in the small groups identified 80 science goals by theme. And then the word that I heard a few times for this second thematic breakout session was that they were lively. And they also really made great strides in refining these fundamental science goals. So I've listed a few of the ones that came up on the slides that we just saw. Some of these are ones that we hadn't flagged at all before the meeting. And some of them, of course, are old favorites. So these are going to be the core ideas that we're developing new simulations around, developing a reference array to attack, and building groups to simply begin to understand them better. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is that we did release a few surveys throughout the week. Avery showed a few results from the day 1 survey. And I really encourage you to all fill out this day 5 survey, which maybe the LOC can drop in the chat. So this survey will help us improve future meetings and will also allow you to indicate your interest in continued involvement. So I think some of the things that are most exciting to us on the organizational side is that over half the participants really were not EHT collaboration members. And it's just so refreshing to hear entirely new perspectives. In addition, almost everyone who's filled out the survey so far has indicated that they'd be willing to contribute their time and resources to the ngEHT. So it's really exciting to see that people are eager to continue to get involved. And of course, we started day 1 with a huge amount of excitement for the project and managed to maintain that throughout a week of really intense scrutiny and wide-ranging talks. So I think it's clear that there's a future here that's very bright. Some of the feedback that we've gotten already, the most exciting things that we've learned, there's a lot of excitement about non-supermassive black hole targets. We clearly have the capability to think about an array that can move beyond kind of core EHT science and start targeting other types of sources. And I think this is something we really should flesh out before we're locking in a reference design. And of course, there's a lot of feedback. We want more breaks. The time zone is difficult. And I think the best thing to do is not to try to squeeze everything into one meeting, but to be thinking about additional satellite meetings in different time zones led by different people so that we can do a better job of engaging the community and so that we can also slow the pace down and let these ideas really get fleshed out. So what's coming next? Well, we're going to start organizing regular meetings of each topical group. These will allow presentations on your recent research, allow coordinated projects with collaborators across the ngEHT on these key questions that we're identifying. And it'll also allow us to start organizing topical workshops based on these themes that we've identified this week. So leads and signups are going to be circulated soon. So let us know if this is something where you'd like to have a leadership role. The next thing is that we're starting to develop shared resources. So we're pulling together reference simulations, common analysis tools, and libraries. things that will allow you to jump straight into state-of-the-art ngEHT simulations and try to demonstrate whether or not your ideas for new science directions are feasible. So we're hoping this will really accelerate the pace of science across the project. There's clearly a need to have a clear ngEHT reference design. So we'll be circulating documents that lay that out. And we're also going to start moving towards the ngEHT project science book. And so we'll have a call for white papers with templates and so forth. And the timescale for this is actually fairly short. This is something that we want to have at least the bulk of it done over the next year. And of course, we're going to start very soon in the planning of the next plenary meeting. So we can think about either a fall or a winter meeting as a follow-up for this one. So, this week was about bringing a new scientific community together. I think it was a wonderful success. And I just thank you all for bringing your time, your energy, your participation, and helping us get this off the ground in such a wonderful way. So thanks all. And I'll just ask if Shep or Avery wants to make any closing comments. I don't hear you very well, Shep.
I was like, can you hear me?
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Avery, would you like to say something? I'll back clean up.
Sure. So I'd like to add my thanks to Michael's, to the local organizing committee. First, they weren't local, so that adds an extra layer of complication for them. And two, they've done an extraordinary job and eliminated a lot of bumps preemptively for us. And so that was absolutely fantastic and greatly appreciated. I'd also like to extend my thanks to the thematic leads today who were thrown into this experiment, graciously agreed to do so, and produced, I think, a very impressive set of results, tentative as they may be, for us this afternoon. So it really started us off on the right foot, and so extend my gratitude to all of them. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for sharing your time and your expertise and your interest with us, without all of you attending. And I'll note that we are still growing the number of participants right now, just ticked up to 92. This is incredible after 5 days to still have this many people online. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for contributing your insights, your thoughts, and your excitement. And thank you, Michael, for spearheading so much of this. It's really been a fantastic job.
Yeah. Perfect. I'd only like to add that Michael and Avery really led everything here. They were the chairs of the scientific organizing committee, and they're leading the way on the science in so many ways. And they helped organize all of this and did all the heavy lifting on the organization scientifically of the meeting. And I think it was a great success. So I wanted to say thank you to Michael and to Avery for everything they've done for bringing us all together. It may not have escaped people's notice too that there were some funding agency representatives sprinkled throughout the meeting in attendance. And I think that they got a very good and clear picture of where we are in the project. I hope that as they came away with the same impression that we did, that there's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of people willing to put their efforts into it. And so for that, we're also grateful that people took all this time to make these presentations. So thank you to everybody, but especially to Avery and to Michael for getting us together. A round of applause for them.